Greetings, vloggers, followers, and potters. Here from Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with another edition of this week's vlog. Today is an interesting topic, but I want to lead us to where we are today. So if you've been following my blog part of my thing, it's been a lot of struggle last week, and into this, well, not so much into this week, but I still have my moments, and I'm working on that. So I want to let everyone know that I'm doing okay. But in hindsight, it is a struggle every day to get moving and get focused, to work on those coping skills. But you have to do the work. Nothing is going to be easy unless you do the work. That's just plain and simple. It's not gonna. You can cry all you want about things that are not going to come to fruition, or things are never going to change. But until you do the work that you intend to do, it's never going to happen. And I have been struggling, but I have a great support system. Thankfully I had therapy last week, and that really helped get things back on track. Although I am struggling with the daylight savings time thing, and I know daylight saving time, I always like to correct myself on that one. But it's been about 2 weeks since we've had daylight saving time end, and I'm still struggling with the fact of dealing with autistic burnout. When I'm out, I have to go out during the day, and that I leave in the dark. I come home pretty near to the dark, and then I'm just so burnt out that by the time I take a nap, I am shot, and it is dark, and that's a struggle. So I'm sleeping a lot. Today I seem to be functioning better. I did go back to bed today after just talking to my mom a little bit, but I'm here and I'm good. So that's the intention. We have Thanksgiving coming up, and that's not a triggering thing, but it does happen. And ironically, a lot of what I've been experiencing has been from long-term with some trauma that I have been experiencing, with some scripts and echolalia, but I'm working on it. So that's the main thing. And one of the things with working with it, and it's where we get into the title of this vlog called me lazy, is the fact that often I was perceived as a lazy person because I didn't have the motivation or the willingness to do things. And that can be said a lot in the autistic community. Now, I do want to say that it's not always seen in everyone, and it's seen everyone in the way it is seen in everyone who it's done. Everybody does something very differently in the autistic community. I've always said that there's no one path of way to go. You could have two autistic children in a household, two very unique characteristics. Same could be said for this. Just because some people have other comorbidities like OCD or ADHD, and I think I'm leaning more towards the ADHD piece. I can see it come out more, as time comes on. However, there's times I just don't have the understanding, the willingness, and the necessity to do things. And then there's times I really do have the understanding, willingness, and necessity to understand the necessity behind something. It's very, very challenging. It can be very challenging because the way it's presented, it can be very downright mean and downright awful that you just don't want to do something because you're lazy or you lack a care. Now, I talk a lot about hygiene. Well, I don't talk a lot about it on here. I think it goes into that piece a little bit, but it does, because in reality, you have to do things to function in society, to leave the house, to go places. You have to do things. You have to shower. That alone can speak volumes for someone who is autistic or neurodivergent and actually takes a shower, because it involves a lot of steps. It involves doing things, multiple steps, and then you throw something that is presentable, like for men, such as myself, as shaving. Somebody who has male characteristics, having to shave is a challenge too, and it's not easy sometimes, but thankfully it's gotten better over the years, being independent. That you understand that there's things you have to do. You have to take a shower, you have to shave every so often, you have to clean your bed, you have to do laundry. And for the longest time, I struggled with that, and even today I struggled with it. It was not till 1 o'clock till I got my first load of laundry in, and that's usually a late day. I mean, not that I usually do stay up some, but I just went back to bed this morning, so I was in behind. And then I struggle with transitions, so that makes it more difficult, just to get into that getting started piece. And that's the hard thing. It's not that, it's not the lack or the not wanting. It's just the motivation isn't there sometimes. And it's the understanding of, oh, we can let it go, let it go, let it go. But honestly, if you don't have any clothes and you're running out of clothes, what are you going to do? I mean, if you're living on your own, and it happens, it happens with me every week. And it happened really bad when I lived in my previous apartment. If you just run, if you wear every article of clothing, and I do have that habit, like I should be more conservative with my clothing, but I'm not. So if you don't, if you put everything in the basket, in the clothes basket, then if it's once it's and sometimes for me, when I wasn't my best, it would be overflowing. It would be rambunctiously overflowing. And eventually you couldn't find nothing to wear. Sometimes you wear things 2, 3 times. I actually got in the habit of hanging things up if I thought they could pass as decent. But now I know the importance of having to do things like that, laundry. It's and then there's like things like towels. When you live independently, if you're not, them skills are not taught early on. Things like doing the towels. That is something that is just a necessary thing. You have to have towels. When you get off out of the shower, how are you going to dry yourself? How are you going to, hey, and then, I think, for me, as far as the shower piece, it has to be something that is therapeutic. If it's, I had to see it as a therapeutic piece. If it wasn't seen as a therapeutic piece for me, it couldn't be done. And I think, just getting that way of getting cleansed and starting the day. I'm one who in the morning has to get up, and as soon as I use the facilities, I am in the shower, and if I don't do it that way, it just sets the tone for things to go south the rest of the day. So you take a shower, you do that, and then, and then the same with laundry. Now I've tried to be on a regular habit. And I'll have to honestly say, since I've got my new bed back in uh, late August, early September, that I've been really adamant about cleaning the sheets on a regular basis, because they are new sheets and I do want to take care of them. And I think if you have something, whether you buy it or somebody buys it for you, and it's done out of love and care, I think that you need to show that love and care for it. That you do love and care for it. It's something that you should take care of. And I think that's, for so long I was just in this deep dark place about it. Like, what does it matter? What does it matter if clothes will click? What does it matter if I take a shower? What does it matter? If I don't do the bed sheets every 2 weeks, but things had to be done. And we're continuing to work on it, honestly. I really need to work on my oral health, and I haven't really been the best at that, and for a very long time. I need to get to a dentist after the first of the year. It's challenging. Going to the dentist for an autistic person is another challenge and a struggle that can be hard, and especially if you don't have that trust issue with the dentist, it's not easy, and I struggle with it greatly. I won't lie to you, but I think sometimes you have to fight your battles. It's not easy, but I have to. That's something, and that is another thing that autistic people have, is with teeth brushing. something as simple as teeth brushing. You have to make it interesting. I think that's the solution for doing things. You have to take pride in something. You have to make it interesting. If you don't make it interesting, it's not going to work. It's the reality of it. I have to find interest in things. So, it's like, so showers, you get to take care of yourself. You get to put on a clean pair of underwear and a nice pair of jeans or whatever, and that makes you. If that makes me feel good, that's what it makes me feel good. Now we talk at the end of the week when all those pairs of underwear are exhausted, and you don't have any nice underwear you want to wear. Then you got to do the laundry. You see, and that's how you pick it up. You have to have interest in it, and if that is so my interest, then I do the laundry. And I think part of the thing is too is that since living here in this apartment, that I have my own washer and dryer, and that's truly a blessing. Not everybody has that. Some people have to go to the laundromat. Some people have to share. Where I lived before, I had to share, and I didn't really like that. And it was a big confusion thing, and you had to intermingle with people, and that's a challenge for some people. And I do see that because yeah, that's one of the big reasons that I moved to where it was. Well, there was many reasons, but I was one of the benefits. I love it is that I don't really have to interact with a lot of people. So it really helps that situation. And, and I have access to that washer and dryer that is mine around the clock. So I can do laundry whenever I want. And sometimes in these high-rise buildings, senior buildings, or places where you have to go somewhere, either like a laundromat, for example, you only go in a certain amount of time, or you can only, or you have to wait, and that's a struggle, and it really is. I mean, it's the reality of it. But you have to love something. I think you have to show your love and care into it, or it's just not going to work. And you have to be motivated to do that. If you're not doing what you need to do, then you're not going to do it. Let's take cooking for example. That's another thing. And sometimes I love when I'm in my moment and I want to cook something and I put some effort into it. I'm all gun ho on it, and I want to cook a meal. And I see a value in cooking that meal. I see that that there's benefits, and cooking can be very therapeutic if you let it. It can be the most. It's just this, and I think that's one of my former workers said it was so therapeutic. It's therapeutic, and it is, because you have to keep engaged. You have to do things, and I can tell you for the longest time, I can tell you some things until I moved here, and especially until I moved here, I was not really a pro at. I didn't cook well. Food wasn't the greatest. It was not cooked well. It was not cooked done, to be quite honest. I think, and then I think also, I just didn't have an interest in dishes. I can tell you when I go to my parents' house once a week to eat, and it's a joke because I don't do dishes at their house, primarily because we have some history there, and it can be challenging to meet with their dynamic and mine. But ultimately, I have no problem doing dishes, and I'll make sure they're done at regular intervals because I know that's important. I know I have to keep my kitchen clean. I know I have to do these things, and just getting in there and getting the rhythm going, I think is important. Whether that's music or whatever you need to do, it has to work for you. And you can't bash it, you can't mock it. You have to do what's easy for you. And you could say, oh, don't have all these prepackaged meals or these easy meals. Well, some nights it's hard. You go to day program, you're on a van for an hour, maybe it's sometimes, or you're in in it, and you have a long day at work or the day program. Yeah, I want something frozen that I can just pop in an air fryer or a microwave, and in 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and I can eat. And sometimes that's something for my goal this week as far as my weight loss club goes. No, we're not meeting this week, so we already are working to establish our goals within our private Facebook group, and mine specifically is to work at eating at regular intervals. And making sure that I'm eating and planning and doing all that business. And so, it is, you can make, it is what you make it. You can do whatever you want to do. I mean, I think, when I've talked about it in hoarding and many things, and I see that the hoarding video I did back, I don't know how many years ago, but it's always my top viewed video. But if you don't have the care to do something, or you're not taking care of yourself, or you're not doing what you need to do, then you're not going to do it. If you don't have the love or the passion for it, you're not going to do it. And honestly, I want to say this because it's always something that always strikes with me. Until I moved in this apartment 3 years ago, I never ever, and it sounds funny from the inside, but I honestly never used a broom. Now the apartment here is all tile floor. I have area rugs, and you could, I work, it could be that, but I could lay down carpet, but I don't want to. Vacuums are easy. Vacuums, I have a simple push bristle thing that picks up the dirt on the area rugs. And I've worked with a broom, and even I remember right before COVID, when we closed the day program down, that I was taught briefly, and I do mean very briefly, because we had to clean it up. We were told to clean for some reason, and then we were shut down the next day. But we were virtual for the next few months. But one thing I was taught was how to use a broom, and not that I did not know that 8 months later I'd be using a broom quite frequently. But if you're not going to want to do it, you're not going to have love in it, or see the value in it, or see the love and the value of doing something, you're not going to do it. The bed sheets, I was horrible at that for many years, even until the bed broke, back in August. And I decided, hey, the new bed, we're going to get in this new rhythm, and we're going to clean this bed. We're going to be routine about these bed sheets. We're going to take care of these bed sheets, and we're going to be proud of the bed, because something as simple as a bed, many people don't even have a bed. And honestly, I think if I posted this, I think yesterday, on Facebook, on my profiles for a photo post for the morning, if you're not going, that bed broke, and I was at my worst, I would admit, and I was still on the rebound from that, and I was very, it was not good. And the bed, I just dismantled it, because out of anger, I don't know the exact answer. I still don't know that answer, but praise God that my parents did what they had to do. They got me at least temporarily, so I could at least sleep on something. And then the next, within days, I had a new bed. And God bless them for that, because you don't think about it, but sleep matters. I know they say like 20% of autistics have issues with sleeping, but if you don't have the bed is paramount. And I have to say that, because if you don't get rest that you need, it's not going to work. It's just, you have to have that love. If you're, it's, you got to have that love and the care. I think you have to have the care too. Like, you have to have them skills early on. And I was blessed with some parents. Just, I love them, and they're very great people, but sometimes their way was not always the way that I understood, or the way I perceived it, or I could not grasp their value in it, which is a greater standard. And it's very open about it, but it's a greater standard than what would be expected from me. And even though I am in no way a slob or a hog. And I think what really opened me to that was my issue with the first apartment. And it was not a hoarding situation, but it was an issue with other things, pests mostly, and that was beyond my control. But I think experiencing that, which was trauma. But I think, and having some intervals there where I was over hoarding way too much, and not caring for the cleaning, and not taking care of things like I do now. I don't think it was meant to be. And as I say to this day, God had a plan for me to be here, and in this apartment where I'm in now. And I keep it clean. I wouldn't be ashamed to have somebody over. And I've had my mom here more at this apartment than I've had at any apartment, either at the other apartment. So, I think we learn, we accept, and I think both, that we learn and accept it in both the way of that they have to come and learn and accept, and I have to learn and accept. And they see now that because I'm doing things like cooking and laundry and cleaning, that I'm not lazy as they perceive me to be for many years. I just think I just didn't have the inertia or the drive to do it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what sums that up. But it's always, it's never until you do it and you have the love and passion for it that you will do it. So I want to thank you for listening. I really appreciate that. I think it was a really good talk. Be sure to like and subscribe this video. I do appreciate, as always, the new subscribers that come on, and I enjoy you to browse my content. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest at Dustin's Dynasty. I'm on the web. That web address is www.dustinsdynastyusa.com. And lastly, if you want to find all the resources, if you want to find all the links that I have, visit my link tree. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty. Again, I want to thank you for listening. Be sure to have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I didn't mention that. I'm not doing much for Thanksgiving. The family's not really into that this year. But we will gather on the weekend, be like a Friendsgiving, I guess what you call it. But I'll have a dinner delivered here from the community. So take care, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.